We're in session in two cases. First case is cause number 329112, and the second case is cause number 330444. Both cases are styled the State of Texas versus Zion Lazarion Harmon.
Yes, sir.
That's your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Harmon, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Harmon, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, you may put your hand down. How are you doing? Hi, you doing all right? Oh, that's good. Now, Mr. Harmon, I have, you know what? I see why I said that. They, on his motion to revoke probation, it has why, oh, it didn't come out.
Oh, yeah.
When it printed, okay, that's right, okay. Okay, on your motion to, I have before me a motion to revoke your probation and cause number 329112. Now, Mr. Harmon, this motion alleges that on June 10th of 2021, that you were found guilty for the offense of trespass class A.
Yes, sir.
And your punishment was assessed as 60 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail, a fine of $500, and your confinement portion of your was probated for a period of 1 year. On August the 17th of 2021, the state filed a motion to revoke your probation. In this motion, the state alleges in count one that you, Zion Lazarion Harmon, committed the offense of trespassing class A on or about the 22nd day of July of 2021 in the county of Jefferson, state of Texas, against the peace and dignity of the state in violation of condition one of your probation order. Is that true or not true? True. And allegation number two alleges that you, Zion Lazarion Harmon, failed to pay court-assessed fees as ordered by the court, and as of August 10th of 2021, you were $310 in arrears in violation of condition 8 of your probation order. Is that true or not true? It's true? Now, Mr. Harmon, are you pleading true to allegations 1 and 2 freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true because they are true?
They are true.
Okay. I also have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Harmon, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir, I do.
Is that your signature on the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir, it is.
And are these your initials on the line that says, I want to waive my right to attorney and represent myself?
Yes, sir.
And the next document is a waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding to trial. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir, it is.
I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir, I do.
On page 2 of this document, there are 2 sets of initials. The first set of initials is on a line that says MTRP, which means motion to revoke probation, true to allegations 1 and 2. And are these your initials next to this line
Yes, sir, it is.
or on this line? The next set of initials is at the bottom of this document below a paragraph that's titled Discovery Admonishment. And it is on a line that states, I do not request discovery of the evidence, and I waive my right to discovery in the case and enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Now, Mr. Harmon, I will scratch through that because this is a probation, a revocation of probation, so you can't enter a plea of guilty or no contest. You can enter a plea of true or not true. And so since you pled true, I will write here that you would enter a plea of true. And is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll put my initials there. Uh, Now, you see where I made the change? I scratched through the line that says guilty and no contest, and I put the word true.
Yes,
Okay. And on page 3 of the same document, Mr. Harmer, there's a signature at the top above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
sir.
On the next document, which is titled the Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, Mr. Harmer, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir. I do.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Now, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I've just mentioned, did you have an opportunity to read the documents?
Yes, sir. I did.
And did you read the documents? You read the documents? And did you understand what you read?
Most of it.
Okay, well, what didn't you understand? Which one, what I'll do is I'll give you a chance to reread that one, the one that you think that you did not understand. Now, let me do this here. We'll go over it one at a time. This first document, the way, the judge's explanation, do you understand this document? That's the one that you selected, that you said you wanted to represent yourself, waive your right to attorney
Yes, sir.
and to represent yourself. Okay, you understood this document? Now, the second document stating that you're waiving counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding to trial. You said you want to waive your right for attorney and you wanted to represent yourself. Now, did you understand this?
Yeah, I did.
You understood that one? And the next document, let's see, it was a trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. That's the document that had the first box on page 1, not the first box, but on page 1, it had a box MTRP, which meant a motion to revoke probation. Did you understand that? And let's see. Now on page 2, this paragraph didn't apply because that's deferred adjudication. You're not getting deferred adjudication because this is you're already on probation. Do you understand that? All right. Now, the second notice states that this was a notice of judicial clemency. And what that meant, what that basically says is that if you successfully complete your probation, the court could have the authority to set aside your conviction. However, a couple of things has to happen. Number 1, you have to successfully complete probation. Number 2, there cannot be any more time left on the probation. The probation has to expire. Number 3, you have to be successfully discharged from the probation. If that happens, then the court can allow you to come back in the court to withdraw your plea of guilty and no contest, and any complaint, affidavit, or information that has been filed against you will be set aside. Did you understand that in this document? Now, in this case, because it's a motion to revoke probation, you do not have a right to have a trial by jury. I know they have language in here that said you had a right to have trial by jury, but because this is a probation case, your case only comes before the judge, either through a hearing or a plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so I know they have this language here saying you're waiving your right to a jury trial. You don't have a right to have a jury trial. And what else? Oh, you have a right to have witnesses. You could have right to, you're entitled to a hearing on your motion to revoke probation. However, you're waiving that right and you're coming before the court. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And also in here, it states, do you have a right to have witnesses? And you know what witnesses do, they could testify for you, against you. However, you're waiving that right as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And also on this document down here, you're waiving your right to have discovery. That's why you put your initials there, stating that you do not request discovery in this case, and you're waiving your right to have discovery in this case, and you enter a plea of true. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you all enter a plea of true to allegations 1 and 2, and these are your initials on this document. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, do you understand? I think, and on page 3, Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, did you understand everything in this document?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. Now, the next document, Mr. Harmon, this is a trial court certification to defendant's right of appeal. And is that your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Top box, there are two boxes checked at the top. The first one says you have a, that this is a plea bargain case. And because this is a plea bargain case, you do not have a right to, you do not have a right to have an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the second one says that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Now, at the bottom of this document, it talks about if the court gave you permission to oh, okay. In this one, it says that if you decided, if the court gave you permission to appeal, and you had a right to file what is called a petition for discretionary, a pro se petition for discretionary review, which means that you'll be representing yourself. You would have to file it with the Texas Court of Criminal Appeal, which is the highest criminal court in the state of Texas. You'll be asking them to review your case to see whether or not this court committed an error by convicting you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And all right. Now, let's see. It also states that, let's see, I acknowledge that I have, that if I wish to appeal the case and I'm entitled to do so, it is my duty to inform my appellate attorney by written communication or any change in the address which I'm currently living or at any change in my current prison unit. I understand that because of appellate deadlines, if I fail to timely inform my appellate attorney of any change in my address, I may lose the opportunity to file a pro se petition for discretionary review. So that says that if you filed the pro se petition, if you had an attorney that's doing your appeal, it's your duty to inform them of any changes in your address, or if you're in prison, to give them the change of your address in prison as well. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you understand everything in this document?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, do you understand everything in the documents that we just went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, I have before me states exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer state 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Harmon, I have before me states exhibit number 1. States exhibit number 1 is the document that we just went over with you. That's the one that have MTRP on it. On page 2, they have your initials above the line that's next to the line that says MTRP, true to allegations 1, 2, and it also have the discovery admonishment, and your initials is on the line, so you do not wish to have discovery, and you're waiving your right to discovery, and you enter the plea of truth, and your initials is on page 3. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence against you in your case?
Yes.
Okay, no objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Harmon, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No.
Okay, Mr. Harmon, I will accept your plea of true to allegations 1 and 2. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of true to allegations 1 and 2 were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your probation. And Mr. Harmon, your probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
20 days county jail. Defendant has 20 days credit for cause, tax, and retirement.
Okay, Mr. Harmon. The state is offering that you serve 20 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail. for this case because you already served 20 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. Where's the sheet for the court costs? And Mr. Harmon, the court cost in this case is $57, but you would not have to pay the $57 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off, therefore it'd be taxed and retired. Mr. Harmon, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you think that the state's offer? Yeah, do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? All right, Mr. Harmon, I will follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. We need to put his second case on here. And so Mr. Harmon, your probation is revoked. And as I said earlier, you'll be given, the sentence is 20 days in Jefferson County Jail. You've already served 20 days in Jefferson County Jail, therefore you'll be given credit for time served. And your court cost of $57 will be taxed and retired. Now, Mr. Harmon, we'll proceed to your next case. Your next case is titled criminal mischief. And I have an information before me that alleges that on or about July 22nd of 2021, while you're in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
I am that guilty.
You're guilty? Okay. Now, I also have before me a document that is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 1 of this document, let's see, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, are these your initials? One is on a line that's next to a box that's checked guilty. The next one is on a line that states, I do not request discovery, and I wish to waive my right to discover in this case and enter a plea of guilty and no contest. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And on the next page of the same document, is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document? And is that your signature above the line that's titled defendant? Two boxes checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? Second box states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? And also, Mr. Harmon, I have before me the same two documents that I mentioned in the previous case. One is a judge's explanation of rights of defendants without an attorney. And the second case is waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a plea or proceeding to trial. And previously you acknowledged that you reckon that these are your signatures on these documents and your initials on the judge's explanation. Is that correct? And again, these documents that I've just mentioned, is everything true and correct in these documents
Yes,
to
sir.
the best of your knowledge? State, I have before me state's exhibit number, state. I have before me state's exhibit number 1, like the office states 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, Mr. Harmon, I have before me state's exhibit number 1 that the state would like to use as an exhibit in your case or to use against you as an exhibit in your case. State's exhibit number 1 is a document that was checked on page 1 that this is a Class B misdemeanor. And on 2 are your initials. One on the line next to the box says check guilty. The other one is on below the paragraph with discovery admonishment saying that you wish to waive your right to discovery. And the on page 3 is your signature that you acknowledge at the top of this document. State would like to use this document as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case? Okay, no objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Harmon, in this case, are you currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? Okay, no. All right, Mr. Harmon, I will accept your plea guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement in this case?
2 days county jail. Defendant has 2 days credit for county jail, court cost, tax, and return.
Okay, Mr. Harmon, the state is offering that you serve 2 days in Jefferson County Jail. You have already served 2 days in Jefferson County Jail, so you'll be given credit for time served. And the court costs in this case of $292 will be taxed and retired, which means that time you spent in jail is already paid it off. You will not have to serve any more time in jail on this case. Now, Mr. Harmon, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, President.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Harmon, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Harmon, you're gonna stand on the X in front of the court clerk. And once you're finished following her direction, you'd be free to go. But we need to give you a copy of your judgments because it's gonna take a few hours before the warrant get out of the system. So if you get stopped, you can show them the judgment to let them know that you took care of your case. Okay, so you're gonna just stand on the X and follow the directions of our court clerk. Okay, and you have a blessed day. Okay. Do we have any